Welcome to the patch.
Time
Flipped.
start now.
Look at all those grains.
Half the time
It's
starts
our
now.
1 hour weekly game show. It's our 1 hour weekly show about video games. So that means this week we will almost exclusively talk about Grand Theft Auto 5.
Pretty much.
Probably, yeah.
And
That's a good starting
Grand
point.
Theft Auto
And this
Online.
thing, which is only half an hour. So halfway through this, we're going to have to flip it.
Yeah.
What's the over-under on us noticing that?
Oh, we're not.
No.
Also, how accurate do you think this thing really is?
We're going to find out.
We have science.
Yeah.
We can find out.
We'll find out.
Is a watch science now?
Kara's telling me that she's tested it, so I still,
Oh, okay.
I still don't trust it.
What's the accuracy on grains of sand and gravity? All right. Newton, I'm looking at you.
What
Yeah.
if the gravity here is a little different than where she tested it?
That's true.
That's very true.
Yeah.
Kara, have you been
Can
to the
happen.
moon lately?
Higher concentrations. Well, hey, let's talk about gaming, though.
Yeah.
Speaking of gravity,
Gravity.
did you see the new
not a movie.
Destiny trailer,
Yes.
gameplay
I did,
trailer, that was set on the moon?
Though gameplay is kind of a loose term. I mean, there's not
It's
a
some
whole
gameplay.
lot.
There's gameplay
I
in
felt
there.
like it was a really generic kind of trailer.
It's a lot of recammed stuff. Like, it's obviously
Yeah.
not like first person. This is what
Yeah.
you'll see. It's a lot of like floating third
Yeah.
person camera watching gameplay.
You got some really quick
It's still cool.
first-person shots. Yeah, I mean, it was cool, but it looked... Is it just me, or does the art look extremely Mass Effect-y?
It's absolutely Mass Effect.
Yeah.
No, that's not just you.
Well,
Yeah.
it's funny when they showed the ship like taking off and then leaving the hangar. I thought, well, that's like a super like Normandy inspired
Looks
ship.
very
Yeah.
It's like
Normandy.
very sleek. You got the like the slope back wings and the like the cockpit, the cabin that move forward.
That entire game just looks like Mass Effect combined with Borderlands.
which sounds like the greatest
Which
thing
I'm
ever.
fine with. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So there it is. So
Yeah,
there were a
that's
couple
good.
of things that came out of this, or that I was interested in. Specifically, at the end, they say that. Well, first of all, of course, the big news is they say there's going to be a beta,
Yeah.
and you
Yep.
get it by pre-ordering. Which, incidentally, I paused the video and immediately pre-ordered it.
Oh, really?
I had not pre-ordered
So it
it
worked.
yet. Yeah, and I was like, oh, okay, I'll do that. And then the other thing is they narrowed the release window from 2014 to spring 2014.
All
Which,
right.
is that the first time they've announced that?
Yeah.
Oh, wow,
Before
okay.
it was just
2014.
2014. Now it's spring.
Did they give any kind of idea when the beta would land?
They said early next year, early 2014.
Okay.
Interesting. Okay. So pre-spring.
Wait, so spring? I just
Yeah, that
realized-
seems like it's
Yeah.
the same...
Well, no. For me, for some reason, I was in my head. I was thinking spring ends on March 21st, but it begins on March 21st. So theoretically, it could be anywhere from March to June.
All right.
boy.
Whatever.
See.
It'll
Yeah,
land when it
you get a
lands.
couple-
I hate real spring versus like what I think spring is.
Yeah.
Like when I think of spring, I think of February, March.
Yeah, me too.
But it's really March on. Yeah.
It's because you live in Austin, where
is
like
very
February
true.
and March are the only temperate months, and then it's like we get a magnifying glass put over the city
Pretty
and you fry
much.
for the next 6 to 8.
Oh, I got bubbles.
So yeah, super
good.
excited about that. I instantly pre-ordered it, and and then I pre-ordered it on Amazon.
Yeah.
And then when I pre-ordered it, it said I got an email from Amazon saying, "Thank you for pre-ordering this. You qualify for a special, like Destiny items." I'm like, what the fuck? What? And it's like they send you links to like wallpapers for iPad, iPhone, computer. I was
So-
like, yeah, but it's literally just a URL for an image. I'm like,
Basically, they're like, he bought it? Hey, we got some other stuff.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
should really buy this other stuff, too.
I was like, here, look at this link.
So the big question is, what did you pre-order it for?
Xbox One.
Xbox One.
Yeah.
Okay.
I know there's going to be some exclusive PS4 content, which is what they announced last February
Right.
when they did the reveal. I could be persuaded to jump ship.
Yeah.
But right now, the reason I chose Xbox One is I have the most number of friends on the Xbox Live platform
That's a
versus
very good point.
PlayStation Network. But if the content's compelling enough, I
Then it
will
won't-
absolutely switch.
Then it won't matter. Yeah. See,
Yeah.
I bought it. I pre-ordered it on the 360 before they even announced PS4 or Xbox One. So now I guess I can cancel it.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
just redo it.
Yeah.
But now I don't know because I already pre-ordered PS4, but I'm in the same boat as you. By the time that game comes out,
But you can just change it.
Yeah.
Like once you find out, I mean, that's
I'd
the beauty of
also
a
say-
pre-order. You can just apply,
That's
just move
true.
that money and apply it to a different.
It's hard to make a prejudgment, though, right now as to where all your friends will land
That's
at
what
the
I'm
end of that
saying,
shakeup,
yeah.
too. It's like, well, right now, everybody I know is on 360. Where will they be then?
That's a very
I
good
mean, you
point.
don't have to make a decision until it's ready to
That's
ship.
true.
That's true.
You
Yeah.
can always change order. It's not like
Are they gonna
it's-
take back the wallpapers?
I wondered that. I was like, suckers! I'm just gonna cancel my order now. I got my wallpaper.
You don't deserve that URL.
The non-password protected URL that they could have given to anybody.
Yeah.
That you can probably Google.
Yeah.
You want?
We'll
you
put
want
in the
some,
link
you want some
dump.
wallpapers? It's pretty cool.
I actually do kind of want to see them. Yeah.
Hold on. Yeah.
This is slightly
it's all
technology
cluttered.
related, but,
But,
is
you
You
that,
can't really see it. It says Destiny. It's got
that's
the
pretty
logo.
cool. Yeah.
I mean, but looking at the trailer, like, there was some shooting, there was some special powers.
Yeah.
I didn't see anything that really... They still haven't really teased me with anything about gameplay that's interesting.
I feel like they're still
mean,
being very vague.
I'm not
because they
saying
don't
I'm
wanna
not saying
promise.
this. Yeah, it's so vague right now that I don't have anything to be excited about other than I know the track record of the company.
Right.
which that I'm excited about. I believe in the company. I think they'll give us a good title, but I still haven't seen anything yet that's.
I like the in their, I think it was in their E3 demo where they're attacking that tank-looking thing, and then the other group of people come up and start helping.
Yeah.
I like the idea of like being in an instance or like being in an encounter, and then having other people just be able to join you immediately and not have to go through like a joining system or anything.
Grand Theft Auto, playing that the little bit I have online though, scares me. Because my entire experience with Grand Theft Auto, besides playing with AH so far, has been I get into a game, I see somebody, they headshot me in the face.
That does happen a lot, yeah.
So it's like in Destiny, every day I see her, they just get a headshot me and take off my guns and my loot. You know, it scares me a little bit.
That's another thing is how competitive is that designed to be?
Yeah.
I think a lot of it's.
Sorry, it was blocking Kerry's face.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
So I got news. I got updates coming to me via my earpiece.
That's by design. I didn't want you to see my face anymore. I just want to see the creep.
Just kind of build a little wall.
So
Sorry.
you've played a little GTA Online. Have you played any?
Oh yeah. I played quite a bit.
Duh.
Yeah.
I felt honestly a little guilty because yesterday I had a little bit of trouble initially. Like in the morning, I went through and tried to do the beginning part of GTA Online, but I got through it when I was here at the office. Like, okay, great.
Right.
And then when I got home later in the evening, I hopped on expecting to have problems. I had no problems at all last night. I probably played like 3 or 4 hours, and then my entire Twitter feed was just people complaining about how they couldn't get on, and I felt a little guilty. I was like, I had a great time.
Somebody has to be playing.
I played all fucking night, and then everyone's just bitching online they can't even get in.
I had no problems. I had a couple hours of playing.
We played during the day, and then I got home and I tried to play, and I couldn't play anymore.
I will say the thing about GTA Online so far, in my experience, is they've got a lot of hang points where you can't escape and where it's dependent on the server doing its job.
Yeah.
And if it doesn't, then you're just dead in the water. Literally to the point of, well, I guess I'll just turn my Xbox off or dashboard out because I can't back out.
Yeah.
I can't go forward.
Yeah.
And it's not recovering on its own.
They take away the B button a lot.
Yeah.
My big complaint was that it takes too long to go from match to match. So, like, let's say you play a death match, then people vote, and then there's that whole selection process.
And if one guy doesn't, then you have to wait the full minute.
Yeah.
No, and it's not even it's like 2 or 3 minutes.
Yeah, if you don't vote, it just sits there for the longest time in the
13.
world. Yeah.
It's like, oh my god. But then there's multiple stages.
Twice,
yeah. And you're like, oh, just fucking hit a button or quit, you piece of shit. So, like, that's the most frustrating part. It's like, is it faster for me to quit out and then come back in and start a new match, or...
And some of the game types, that's one of it falls prey to this issue that you see in some games where if the game is shorter than the amount of time it takes to get into the game, then that's not a good experience.
Yeah, like, especially the short races.
Or like the last team standing
thing
where
you
you just walk around the corner, someone shoots you in the head, and then you sit there for 45 seconds, the game's over, and then you spend another 5 minutes to get back into the game.
That's true.
Where's the gameplay there? That's not...
Also, there's some strange... I don't know who to blame it on, if it's the player's fault or the server fault, but there's some balance issues where, like, I would play last team standing, and the teams are never balanced.
You can turn that off. Whoever's the host has the option to turn on team balancing or not.
Okay.
Yeah.
But however, it won't balance it after a certain point in the game. So if people drop out, it's not going to rebalance the teams.
Yeah, like I played in a 4-on-2 match. I was on the team with 2. Like, oh great.
Yeah,
it's like this is not going to be awesome. We won, by the way.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
2 kills each. 2 kills for my partner. 2 kills for me.
Nice.
God,
Fucking tactical.
it's so good.
But it was fun. I actually busted out. I normally never play online games with my headset on my 360, but I actually busted it out.
Really?
Last night 'cause I was playing with Gilby, Adam.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And so I first I didn't have my headset on. Then he like popped into my game. It's like, okay, cool. And then I kept thinking I was hearing him talking, and I hear like, hey, whenever you see a cool car, stop, and I wanna get it for myself. And I was like, okay. So then, like, I started driving. Then I would like stop, and when I'd see a cool car and he wouldn't get out, I was like, okay. So I'd keep driving, like, no, here, that one. So I'd stop, and he wouldn't get out. I'd be like, what the fuck? So I got my headset and I started chatting with him. He's like, what the fuck's wrong with you, dude? Why are you driving like a grandma? You're stopping at all the red lights. I was like, aren't you asking me to stop and get you a car? He's like, no. So I guess it was someone else in the game. I could hear talking.
Weird.
That's really funny.
I will say they do have an interesting mechanic in that game that does kind of make you want to put your headset on, which is whenever you rob a store, you have to yell into your headset to make the guy go faster. I haven't actually tried it yet. I don't know how helpful yelling is.
It's been so long since I've used my headset that I don't know where it is.
I don't either.
Also, I don't want to do that, though.
You don't?
You don't just yell?
No, I don't want to be sitting there being like, hey, Put the money faster.
You could say anything though. I think
Yeah,
if
you
you just
could.
yell, just be like, "I really like your hair today,"
Yeah.
and they'll be like, "But oh god, I'm so sorry."
Yeah, but it's like even if I'm sitting there yelling, my dogs are gonna freak out. They're like, "What's he yelling for?"
Yeah, there's like an old DS game. I think it was one of like the Zelda games. It's like, yeah, you gotta like blow a bubble. You need to do it by blowing the microphone. It's like, I hate that shit.
Oh yeah, I remember
I
that.
hate that shit. It's the worst thing
Can
in
you
the
just
world.
rub your thumb against it really gently?
You probably could.
You got to be
yeah.
really
You probably
delicate though.
That just sounds gross. I don't know why.
Why does that sound gross?
I don't know,
You looked
Is
at
the
me.
word delicate that scary to you?
We can talk about rubbing at the same time.
Come on,
Delicate
man.
rubbing.
Delicate rubbing.
It's the only
boy.
kind.
So what game types are there? I've seen races,
not the only
last team
kind.
standing, deathmatch.
There's one more.
Sorry, what was the question?
what
game
What's
are
the
there?
one where you
There are
run to the
missions?
case?
That's
Oh.
that falls into the missions.
That
There's
falls into
several.
missions.
Again, I'm looking forward to more variation in that stuff, and some of it you just have to unlock by playing.
That's
but-
another problem I have. Is like the mission, getting the briefcase.
Right.
Thing.
Yeah.
So I went to go do that. I lost. I didn't get the briefcase. The other team did. But then
Right.
there's no option to do the mission again. Then you're put into the regular matchmaking hopper. It's like, no, I don't want to play deathmatch. I want to go back and do the mission.
You should be able
You
to
should-
replay.
yeah,
No,
there
are you
is a
talking
Oh,
replay
about?
replay is an option, but
Yeah.
it typically doesn't come. It doesn't
It's
come
not
up.
one of the awesome
Right.
like six
Yeah,
nice
it's-
looking ones.
It's little at the bottom.
Yeah.
I will say that game type feels a little broken right now because everybody starts with the same vehicles on both teams. So you get a really fun experience around if both teams get to the case at the same time.
Yeah.
There's a good fight there. And then somebody takes off, and that's it.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, you can't catch him
Yeah,
unless he
they're-
messes up.
Yeah, because
He's
all the
gone.
cars are the same speed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's no overtaking him at that point
Yeah,
unless they
when
mess up.
When I played my one match, like we were all still playing for the first time. I think nobody really had any games under their belt. So my team just started running to the case, and we realized it was really far away. So I hijacked a car, and I pull someone out. I get in. I'm the driver. My team gets in, and I start hitting the right trigger to accelerate. Car doesn't move. Left
What?
trigger, car doesn't move. Like the car is just there. I have a car full of all my teammates. It's not moving. So I'm like, fuck. So then I'm like mashing on the triggers. Nothing's happening. I move to get out, and as I get out, it starts rolling. I'm like, what the fuck? So then one of my teammates gets out, gets in the driver's seat, and I think they're mad at me because they think I was trolling him or something. Because he immediately turns the car around and runs me over. I know. I swear to God, I was trying to move it. It was not moving.
That happens a lot in single player for me. Like when I fuck up a car a lot, it won't. If I hit the trigger, it won't go at the beginning. I've got to like reverse a little bit, and then it finally like rolls into gear and then goes into something. It's really weird, but it's like
With enough destruction.
yeah.
Yeah. I'm interested to see what else it will unlock, though. I think it's survival, and then there's a couple other things. There's some interesting... I haven't done any of the, what is, I guess, the co-op part of GTA
Yeah.
yet, which is the little missions you got on your phone from people that show up later in the story, in the single player. Haven't tried those yet, but I will say that there's... Simeon does like a car collection thing, and that actually was kind of fun, because what it does is...
You had to track down the cars in the city?
Well, what happens, or at least what happened in the game I was in, was I got a little green marker showing where the high-value car was, but everybody in the session with me, in the free roam session, I think got the same marker. Anybody that had that
Oh,
mission.
interesting, okay.
Because some other guy was racing to it at the same time. He got there first. I don't know if he realized how it was working, because he pulled over to stop and I guess give himself a GPS location, and I just shot him in the head, took the car, and drove off.
It's like L.A.
Yeah. So, but it was a cool
Yeah.
idea. I'm curious to see how that works when more people start realizing that it's going on.
I had one that was similar but kind of co-op. You had to help repossess 2 cars for Simeon. So then I started, I just sent out a job request to people in my game,
Yeah.
and 3 people came along with me, so there were 4 of us, and we just all together had to work to find these 2 cars that were driving around the city. You know,
That's pretty cool.
Take them over and then take them back
It's
to the garage.
it's very like drop in, like just like I'm just gonna go do this now. What I still want to know is why is that select menu not in the single player?
The select.
It's,
Yeah, when you hold
when you
down
hold down
select.
select,
Oh yeah,
and
the
you can
back
quick
button.
GPS thing,
Yeah.
and, like turn on your sunglasses and stuff. Why is that on the single player?
That is really nice.
It's really nice.
convenient.
I don't understand why.
Yeah. There's also inventory, which I think is weird.
Inventory, yeah, and then you
Yeah.
can also the expanding your map too.
And through inventory, that's where and that's another cool feature of it is when you do a job together like that, one player is going to end up with all the cash, but in inventory, you can go to cash, and it'll have the last job cash, and you can assign percentages for what each person that helps you.
Oh, kind of like in the single
Yeah.
player. The
exactly,
takes,
Only you get to determine it,
That's
by
pretty cool.
yourself.
Because you
but-
set it up, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's a neat idea. But no one's ever going to share the fucking money.
I did. I gave
Yeah?
Jeff. He and I held up a convenience store. I gave him half the loot.
Also, there's not nearly
He's my
enough
wheel
money.
man.
It's not worth it to rob a convenience store.
Nah, it's like $1,100. Well, it's only useful in the sense that there's an achievement for robbing all 20 of them.
Oh.
Oh, well.
And if
yeah.
you rob all 20 of them, that's basically 25, 30 grand. So
That's almost
it stacks up.
ammo.
Yeah, ammo is very expensive.
Ammo is very expensive in that game.
And you run out of it a lot.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to. I know it sounds dumb, but one of the things I'm most looking forward to once more people get online is playing golf. I really like playing golf in GTA 5, and I wanted to play with Gilby last night, but he hadn't unlocked it yet. I was really sad. I was like, oh, go do some missions. Maybe we can play some golf later.
I noticed the
funny.
movie theater unlocks in multiplayer too. I haven't been there yet, but
Yeah, it does. That's weird.
Yeah, I wonder what you can do. You can just go like, is it like home?
Carrie,
Can you go watch trailers?
Carrie, do you want to go see a fake movie with me?
Only if we go to the strip club afterward.
Done.
It'll be like the
Well,
most
you can
awkward
sit in your
experience
house
ever.
and watch TV, so why couldn't
That's
you go
true,
to
yeah.
the theater and watch a movie?
Yeah. If you buy popcorn though, I'm not sticking my hand in it. Just for the record.
Oh, but the good popcorn's at the bottom.
Oh, really? Is that
Yeah.
where all the butter sinks?
Yeah,
in?
all the butter and
It
the salt
gets,
gathered down there.
collects. Yeah,
Oh.
salty.
Ugh. It's yeah.
Gross.
That was a tangent.
So, so last week when we did the patch, we had to pre-record it, unfortunately, and we did it on the day that Valve did their second announcement,
yeah.
Right.
which was the Steam machines. So we haven't had a chance to talk about Steam machines or their weirdo controller.
So okay,
that they
just
announced
to
on
recap,
Friday.
first thing was SteamOS.
SteamOS.
Yep.
Second thing was Steambox.
Steam machines.
Steam Machine. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Machines.
And machines.
Plural.
Plural. Oh,
Yeah.
Steam Machine. Steam Machine is a Daft Punk song. And then the third thing was the controller.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. Everybody was hating on it, but I would have to kind of like see it. I don't know. It's the same thing
I
with
just
the PS4
realized
controller.
that the controllers are exactly like our coasters
yeah.
here.
Oh yeah, they kind of are.
Yeah.
They stole it from us.
These are really nice
Wait,
coasters.
did we make those?
I bought them.
All right.
It's
Fair
close
enough.
enough,
That seems like that's implied ownership right
Yeah,
there.
It
I
is.
own them. I bought them. But so it's like two, instead of having analog sticks, it's got like two haptic circles like that.
Yeah.
And then a
Which-
touch screen in the middle.
The people that have had their hands on it have said it's a really interesting experience.
Okay. Interesting can go.
Yeah.
It can go a
either
lot of
way.
ways.
Interesting is also a really nice way to say bad sometimes.
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 It seemed like a lot of them were leaning towards the positive.
To me,
What did you think of going to the movie with Ryan? It was
It's
interesting.
Interesting in my butt. I feel like the thing that's even
Whoa,
weirder
Carrie,
than
that's like third date material.
I mean, I think the thing
start
that's
slow.
even weirder than the two circles is the fact that they split up the buttons.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
the buttons
yeah.
being
Sides.
around the.
Yeah, because I mean, like I can get used to the two on the side because that's basically what the PlayStation controller is. It's the joysticks in the same spot, but it's the two buttons being different.
Yeah. And they had
It's-
when they announced that, they had a simulated like controller breakdown showing what it would be like for Portal,
Right.
as an example. Yeah, I don't know. It's
Yeah.
like,
Theoretically, you have to move your thumb less because, like on the Xbox controller, you're going up and down a lot.
yeah, but I don't know if I could accurately press buttons with my left thumb, as dumb as that sounds.
No, I know that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean
Like,
I'm
like
not
I've
sure
been-
how much of a reach it is. You could probably do it all with the right thumb, but it would be more of a reach.
Oh, across
Yeah,
the
I've been
screen?
training
Yeah, I
for
don't know.
years
Yeah.
to use my right thumb. I mean, this is
It's a lot
fucking
better.
decades of video
Yeah.
gaming.
That's a great thumbs up.
Hey,
It's good.
it's in every shot. You can't get away from it. Yeah, so I'm definitely concerned about that. They did say that you could opt in to be part of the beta experience.
They're really gonna pick 300.
300 people.
Yeah, that's not
And,
happening.
Honestly-
but the beta would start by the end of the year. They said that, right?
Oh, that's cool.
I'm kind of confused at what this is really. Well, okay. My assumption is that what this is really targeted at is specifically to try and win some console users back over to that kind of platform. Because
Yeah.
I mean, I play a fair amount of PC gaming, and I'm not sure that I find this attractive. Like, it's got all the things I don't like about consoles, and then they're calling it kind of a PC platform, which
Why-
is that I can't. It's not modular. It's just a static piece of hardware that'll be the same,
Yeah.
in 10 years.
I feel like they're trying to get. Yeah, you're right. They're trying to get
Yeah.
another audience, but then they're still like keeping the other audience out.
Yeah.
I've got some counter arguments.
Okay.
All right.
So, I think this is perfect for me.
Okay.
And I realize that maybe I'm a little bit of a unique situation here. I don't have space in my house for a desktop computer. So
At
as
all.
it is,
You
right,
had
at
no
all.
desktop computer.
Right.
Okay.
So whenever I play PC games, I have to reboot my laptop, my Mac, into Windows and play
Right.
like that. And it's like, where am I going to play? On the coffee table, like on the kitchen table? It's like, so if I could easily have something I could play PC games on my TV, that'd be great for me.
And
And I would play a lot more PC games. As it is right now, I'm very limited in what I play because
And
it's
you
not
probably
ideal.
would upgrade that about as often as you would your laptop. Or you'd probably be able to upgrade the Steam machine even more.
Right. So
So
I buy
it
a
would
new
actually be
laptop
better.
every couple of years.
Yeah.
But as far as upgradability, that ties into something else I wanted to talk about this week. I don't know if you saw the Piston gaming PC.
Yeah.
I saw one at South by Southwest this past year, and essentially it's like a little rectangular prism, like this big.
Yeah.
But it is modular.
It's cute.
And you can replace hardware in it.
All right, but where are you going to get hardware for that? I mean, it's going to
From
be...
them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the Steam machine idea is that they'll just have hardware specs that third-party manufacturers have to meet. So it's like then it's just a matter of finding a manufacturer you like who meets those specs and then
Right.
has parts.
Which the price that I saw kicked around for that device, I think was $999.
Yes, that's
Right.
correct.
Which that's I don't know. I mean, I could build a PC in that range that's probably going to outspec their little hand device, and then I'd still have controllability. You know, I'd be able to control what goes
It's
into
true,
it.
but I
And
mean, a lot
that's
of
what
people
bugs me.
really care about. You can't get that in your entertainment center in a way that looks
Sure, you
pretty.
could. You could get a low-profile case. You could put something small. It would be bigger than that.
Yeah.
It would be.
Yeah.
But it would still be something that's more true to the PC than that's going to be.
Sure.
I don't like closed box. I don't like an environment where I can't modify, and that's what I'm concerned that that's going to turn into.
I'm trying to find the fucking tech specs on this Piston.
Are you worried that the PCs are just slowly turning into consoles?
I'm not,
Over
because
time.
it doesn't meet the needs, as far as I can tell, won't meet the needs that my computer will.
Sure.
And my computer will continue to get better, and this thing, unless I buy another
Well,
$300 module,
Let me ask you: how often do you actually upgrade your computer versus just like rebuilding an entire new computer?
when I need it.
Sure, but I mean, like
Yeah.
you can do RAM, you can do hard drive, you can do video card.
Which a lot of times, I'll just not max, but I'll take it high enough that by the time it needs to be upgraded from there, it's time to just do the whole thing.
So is that better than a console?
Yeah, I would say so. Because
Well,
I
how's it
can
different?
control that. And if I wanted
Well,
to...
you can control it, yeah, but you like if you've already maxed everything or
Well, I haven't-
relatively maxed. Like
for example,
yeah.
right now, I've got a pretty decent mainboard processor RAM, but if my video card starts to lag, I can
Sure.
upgrade that.
yeah, you can.
And it's, not cheap to do that, but I can. And
It's
I
the
have
price,
control
it's
of
the
both.
price
cost
of
of a
360
console?
Yeah,
No, it is not the cost of the console. It's the cost of some of the lower end consoles, depending on the hardware you buy. But I don't. That's what I like about the PC platform is that I have control over it. So
Yeah.
I don't like the idea of giving it up. Now,
But do you like the standardization, knowing that
No.
if you go buy a game, it will work
No.
without having to be like, well, I bought this game, it's not going to work. I'm going to need to go buy a video card now.
that doesn't really happen though on PC.
You just said it happens, that if your video card starts lagging, you replace it.
I can always adjust the settings so that I can play it, and then if I want to play it on a higher setting,
Okay.
then I can go get newer hardware. But I mean that doesn't bother me because standardization of graphics hardware just makes the developers dumb down their graphics to match the standard.
Or
That
to
is
meet
true.
the lowest
Yeah.
rung.
So that means you'll get a whole generation of games as long as that Steam PC spec lasts that are going to look about the same. They're never. I mean, there'll be some variation. Obviously, you've seen that on 360, where there's been pretty big gamut of what low to high.
Do you think maybe that as part of the Steam machine spec that they will require upgradability or modular?
It's a good question.
Or a modular aspect?
if anybody does, I think it'd be Valve because I feel like they're pretty big into that already. But it's also going to limit who can do it and like who's going to start buying it.
Right. I mean, because I feel like, Valve is a company, obviously, that makes PC games, and they port games to consoles also. I feel like they definitely prefer the PC, because you see
Yeah.
them, they release console titles that obviously don't get nearly as many features or long-term upgrades as
Yeah,
their
it's
PC
usually
counterparts.
It's usually a little bit after
Yeah.
the PC release.
Or never. Like Team Fortress
Or
2
never.
just got ignored once it
Yeah.
was out in the orange box, whereas on the PC it's
Yeah.
huge, and it had a much longer life.
Which it may just have more player base there. That's probably where they choose to focus the dollars is because who's playing the game.
Yeah.
And I think a big part of that, and speculation again, I
Uh-huh.
think a big part of that was they can't do microtransactions on a console without paying out to the console manufacturer,
That makes
without
sense.
paying
Yeah.
Sony or Microsoft.
Yeah.
Whereas on Steam, on the PC, they're like,
They
fuck
do
it,
whatever
they don't
they
have to pay anyone.
Yeah.
Yeah,
their
I
platform.
mean, Team Fortress is still good. I play that all the time. So it's like, yeah, I don't know.
Well, now what I would be curious about, and what might sway me to think that this might be more interesting of a platform, is if they have some, and I doubt this will ever be a reality, at least for this generation, but
Believe in your dreams.
I like to. I want to believe inside.
That was a moment.
Yeah, we shared something.
Yeah, it was good.
It's okay. There's eye contact.
Yeah.
You held me after. But if you could take two of these and dock them together in some way,
Like
Hey.
SLI, like video cards.
yeah, that
Interesting.
would make me interested because then you have that idea of if I want to play it at a higher level, then I have that route. Or if I want to have my friend over and we want to play together.
So speaking of that, did you guys see the this was I don't know, I don't think it even got as far as a Kickstarter. I think it's just a idea right now. But did you guys see the modular cell phone
Oh yeah,
idea that passed
That
by a
was a
little
really
while
cool
ago?
idea.
No, I didn't see
So
that.
essentially, it was a cell phone. Is you buy a circuit board essentially that is it's prettied up. It's not just a circuit board, but it's got
It's got lipstick on.
yeah, and eyeliner and everything. It's got a whole bunch of pins in it. So it's, oh, I'm going to want to talk on the cell phone. Let me put my antenna pin in. Oh, I'm going to need a battery. Let me get this module right here that sticks
Okay.
into this amount. And you know that you set it up exactly how you want it. So, I actually don't need Wi-Fi because I keep everything on my phone. So I'll increase my storage and get rid of Wi-Fi.
it was just a completely modular base.
That sounds like a video game. Like you're preparing to
does.
run a mission.
Yeah.
You're like, what am I going to need on this mission today?
Yeah. But it's a very good point. It's like, for your grandma, all she needs to do is talk on the phone. So you give her a better antenna and a huge battery.
battery.
Yeah.
Or and it, I think it went down to the granularity of, oh, okay, I need a faster processor. Let me undock and replace that
Yeah.
module. And then, I mean, most of your cell phone is exactly identical to the previous generations. Maybe the screen's a little smaller, maybe it's a little thinner, but
Even the
most of
screen you could pop off too.
yeah, I mean, if you could replace parts at will,
Which is basically bringing cell phones up to PCs, essentially. And I mean,
sorta,
in a way, yeah.
And it brings it up to the idea of
The
what
idea.
I like about it is
Yeah,
the
no, not
flexibility.
speed-wise, but yeah, the
well, no,
the idea.
it's a cell phone. It's
Yeah.
not supposed to be a computer.
Hey,
But
one day.
one day. Well, by then the computer will be faster.
It's true. One day they're just gonna give up on computers.
Big computer
it's all gonna be
always
cell
beat
phones.
little computer.
So
Caveman
I was a
Ryan.
little annoyed at how much hype Apple put around their 64-bit processor for
Yeah,
the
they said that a
iPhone
lot.
5S. It's like, for me, as far as I know, and correct me if I'm wrong, the only real benefit to moving from a 32 to a 64-bit architecture would be able to address larger amounts of RAM, which
Yeah,
you really don't have.
your
in
calendar
a
will
phone.
work forever.
It's like, okay, great, I can address more than
I'm sure they just had to move that direction because all software architectures kind of headed that way at this point.
Which is cool, but yeah, they made a really big deal out of it.
yeah.
Of course, I mean the tower, all other Apple products have been 64-bit for a long time now.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
God, I think
Even RISC was 64-bit, wasn't it?
yeah, but I mean,
Not
it was
that anyone
RISC,
cared.
yeah. Yeah, God, I think shortly after they moved to Intel, they made the jump. Because I know my
Yeah.
first MacBook Pro was not, but then my second one was.
Yeah, the Intel Core series, I think, is where they started. with
Yeah,
that, right?
Yeah.
They started with the Core Duo, which did not do it,
No.
but then I think the Core 2 Duo did.
Yeah.
They did. Yeah, the second series of that was
sequel.
64-bit. Actually, I think they've had 64. And who cares? But yeah,
Nerds.
This is relevant to a gaming.
We are.
discussion.
It is.
That is very relevant.
We're all nerds.
So people make fun of me a lot for the fact that I play PC games on my MacBook. Like,
Who cares?
Like my wife tweeted a picture of me playing a flight simulator on a plane, and they're like, "Why are you playing on that laptop?" I was like, "It's fine for gaming.
Yeah.
It's got like a discrete GPU. It's not a tower. Don't
Yeah.
get me wrong, but
Yeah.
it's got a fast processor, plenty of disk space.
don't fault you at all. It's a platform that you can play on, and
Yeah.
why not?
Yeah. I wish it was easier to jump between operating systems.
Yeah,
It drives me crazy.
I really wish, and it's great that there's software like Parallels, so you can
Yeah.
run Windows applications in Mac OS. But I wish that they would run with no performance hit.
Yeah.
Like no
Yeah.
overhead on the virtualization. It's
Yeah.
like the hardware's there.
Good luck.
It's the same hardware. It's just like,
It feels like it's not optimized.
well, yeah,
100%.
you just have to remove those layers. Like you got to allow your virtualized software direct access to the hardware instead of having to go through your operating system and virtualize everything coming back.
One day.
No, they'll never let you do that.
No, never.
It's like I doubt. Yeah. No.
Even flipping to a dual boot on PC, it never feels quite as robust as it should on some of the hardware Mac has. So I don't know what happens in translation there, but
Yeah. Plus, you have to
I don't like the
reboot and
voice.
you have to hold the option key forever.
yeah, no.
The worst for me is when I open it up and I'm like, oh God, what did I stay booted up into?
was that?
Yeah, it's like whether or not I guessed what future Gus would want to use.
That's really funny.
Then if not, you're like, oh.
He wants to
gotta
play
reboot.
Flight Sim.
Yeah, Flight Sim and Smite, I think is
Nice.
what I've been playing a lot lately.
Which Flight Sim?
So they don't have a Mac
X.
version for either of those?
No,
well, I'm sure
Mo-
Flight Sim
yeah, Flight
doesn't
Sim,
because
no.
it's Microsoft, but
and also yeah.
No.
They
Okay.
also released a newer. Like I don't play the latest flight sim because I don't like it because it's all microtransaction based.
Uh-huh.
Where it's like you buy the game and then if you want to fly more planes, you have to buy them all. It's like,
So-
and it's not as good of a simulator. It's not as accurate.
I think the question on everybody's mind, though, is did you complete the flight successfully?
No, I didn't have enough battery.
Oh.
But people were asking how I handled the takeoff
Uh-huh.
because they're like, because obviously you can't use
Yeah.
an electronic device during takeoff. So what I did was before I left my house, I started the flight. I
That's
took
really
off,
funny.
and I was above 10,000 feet. That way, in the middle of the flight, once we was able to use
Nice.
electronic devices, I was able to pull it out.
Did you hear they're getting rid of that?
Yeah, for some select devices.
Some select devices, yeah, but
Flip it.
Up.
30 minutes.
Should we address our sponsor?
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh, no.
I bumped your mic.
I want to remind everyone, this episode of the podcast the patch is brought to you by Kerry.
Yep.
Hey,
Kerry.
Kerry Shawcross for all your Kerry needs.
I lost the money.
The brand you know.
No, wait, it might not be.
The brand
no,
you
we're
want.
good.
Yeah, look at that, making the money. Kerry.
Kerry.
All right.
God, the joke. We were so happy about that fucking joke. So stupid. We're talking about flight simulator.
No. Phones on planes. and
Oh, yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Electronics.
So they're getting rid of the whole. I don't think you can still use like things like Wi-Fi or any type of communication.
Yeah.
But you can keep them on during takeoff.
Which would be great because so I hope you can never make a phone call on a plane because I know
Yeah.
I'm gonna be stuck next to some fucking asshole
Yeah.
on a phone the entire time. I like the fact that I don't have to hear the person next
What?
to me. I can ignore.
What? No, yeah, I got plenty of time to
Yeah.
talk. Let's
Yeah.
talk. How are you today?
I'm just sitting here.
It's already bad enough when I land and I have to hear them. But I'm happy because I listen to so many audiobooks on my phone.
Yeah.
Like if I could just leave it in airplane mode and just keep listening to audiobooks because sometimes when I'm really into my book, oh God, I can't believe I'm gonna admit this. I'll buy the paper copy also, so that way during takeoff and landing I can keep going.
Oh wow. Nah. Hey, look.
That's fair.
If
Hey.
you enjoy it, do what you want, Gus.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. No, you need both versions.
Yeah.
I embrace that.
Yeah.
I'm surprised you don't buy like the digital. Well, I guess that doesn't.
Yeah, it's
it's
not
not
like
gonna work.
that's the only time I'll
Yeah.
use it too. It's like this is like the one time I don't have access to my electronic device.
Paper. What is this?
As an offshoot of that, I saw also, I think it was late last week, that Delta announced they were going to roll out Microsoft Surface tablets to their pilots in place of their pilot bags. So like American Airlines is moving towards iPads for their pilots,
right.
like for all of their charts and checklists and whatnot.
Oh, okay.
And
I thought you meant they're gonna like watch Finding Nemo on the flight. I'm like, what are they doing?
like
Flying
for
the
all of
plane.
their paperwork, because apparently the bags that they have to carry with all of these checklists and
Right.
flight plans and everything, there's like 30 or 40 pounds. So it's
Fuck
much
that.
easier if they can just carry a tablet.
Right.
So I guess Delta announced they're going to be rolling out Surfaces to all of their pilots, and I guess the pilots were unhappy about that
We can get iPads.
because in the pilot program they had been using iPads, and they were fine with
Oh.
that. And then at the last minute, I guess when they decided they were going to go forward with it, they swapped it. They said, "Oh, we're going to use Surfaces instead."
Well, they can't get their pilot apps or their space fruit or whatever they.
space fruits.
But so I think that the timing is good for the FCC or the FAA decision
Yeah.
on that, because it's like, well, the pilot's already going to have this shit that they're using right next to the instrumentation.
Right.
Why
I should
not let
have
other
listened to my iPod in the back of the
Right.
plane.
I bet
Yeah.
they would be making that decision right now if they hadn't all been sent home.
Yeah, that too. Yeah.
Political.
Yeah.
Politics.
How long till we have like a politics podcast?
Oh God, hopefully never.
Probably
That might be
never.
good. People like listening to stuff that makes them angry.
That's
you know?
very true.
Maybe we should start one.
Yeah.
I have opinions that differ from yours.
Let's yell.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you want, I can just leave and you guys can be like just across the table for each other. And I'll be the moderator.
Crossfire.
I'll be like, guys.
Or we could start an Xbox 360 exclusive gaming podcast, or let's say a Microsoft
yeah.
one, a Sony one, and a PC one.
There you go.
No Nintendo one, because
No.
who cares?
Well, hey, I care.
Did you see that
I have a Wii U.
Nintendo announced that they're going to stop production on the Wii?
It's interesting. I mean, I get it though, but because the Wii U has
anyone
a
care?
Wii emulator built into it, so it's like,
Well, it's still like it was such a popular selling
It is.
console. I think
was it the most popular, or is it the PS2 still got that?
no, PS2 has that.
PS2
In fact,
has
I
that.
have the list right here in front of me.
Yeah.
I think it's interesting because a lot of times these consoles will stay around for a long time even after their heyday. Like the PS2 is still, or they just recently stopped.
Yeah, they just recently stopped, but there was a game that came out for the PS2.
Yeah,
I think,
FIFA 14.
FIFA,
This
yeah,
year.
yeah, this year.
So I think it's interesting that they're probably trying to do it to push Wii U's, since Wii U's have the emulation
Yeah.
and they're not selling that well. The all-time most selling console is the PS2 at
Right.
155 million. The Wii looks to be number five.
Number five,
with
okay.
100 million.
Okay.
That's still
So
pretty
it's-
solid.
Yeah.
PS2, Nintendo DS, Game Boy and Game Boy Color, PlayStation, and then Wii.
Okay for Nintendo DS? Is the Lite covered in that? Because I feel like the Lite sold way more than the original DS.
It's probably both.
It's
Because
probably both.
there is no separate breakout.
Okay, then yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, and that kind of makes sense, though. I feel like compared to the PS2, the Wii probably doesn't have as many inroads in a lot of those markets. I mean, it doesn't do as good of a job with sports games. It doesn't do a good of a job with pretty much anything.
Plus, also,
honestly.
it doesn't have as much third-party support.
It doesn't.
Like the PS2 game that was announced is an EA FIFA game.
Yeah.
You know, there's third parties.
Yeah.
Who are
Sony
still
stopped
making that stuff.
developing
Right.
for the PS2, but other people were still doing it.
Yeah, if Nintendo's not developing for the Wii, no one's going to develop for the Wii.
Yeah.
You know, they're having a difficult enough time catching up with the third-party support with the Wii U as it is. It's like focus your efforts.
I don't get it. Maybe I'm just too into Nintendo, but I love the Wii U. I have one and I
What
love
do you play on it, though?
I play Pikmin 3, Wind Waker.
Oh, not
Ocarina of Time. Mario Brothers.
Isn't there
Didn't you
paid
just-
DLC coming out for Pikmin 3?
Is there? That's cool.
Didn't you?
Is it? I thought Nintendo did not release paid DLC. I thought that
No,
was
they
like
did. They did it for. Well, they kind of did it. So for the new Super Mario Brothers game, they released Luigi U, which was you could buy it as paid DLC, or a couple months later you could buy it in stores as a disc. But it's essentially it was DLC.
Didn't you just list 2 titles that were just remakes of other system games, though? Is Pikmin
One
a
title. No, that's a new one. That's a new one. One
No?
title.
Wind
Yeah,
Waker?
Pikmin 3. No, Wind Waker's a remake. Yes.
Yeah,
Wind
Ocarina
Waker's
of
a
Time.
remake. No, I mean to say Ocarina of Time.
Okay.
Yeah. No, I didn't mean to say Ocarina of Time.
Okay.
I was thinking of my 3DS.
Gotcha.
That is a remake.
So I think they just make a business of selling their own games over and over.
I
again,
will
right?
buy them forever. They're
All
great.
right.
and that's a big deal. The back catalog. I mean,
Yeah.
that's huge.
That's the thing is like, yeah, it's so hard for me to actually. I don't have my GameCube here with me. It's it's at home with my parents. So like for me to play Wind Waker.
Your parents like playing the
legally,
GameCube?
They do. They're like, for me to like, I don't want to go through the process of getting an emulator.
Yeah.
It's annoying. So I can just go buy this. It looks awesome. It's the best thing ever.
So yeah, I guess during the Nintendo Direct presentation yesterday, they announced that Pikmin 3 is getting paid DLC, and the first pack is $1.99.
That's what is it?
So you download the update, which is made available. Oh, it was made available yesterday. You can access additional single-player missions. The first round of DLC being more collect treasure missions.
That's cool. Yeah,
So
the game was kind of short. So.
Upon updating the game, players
It was.
they sell you a full title short game and then make you pay $2 to finish it.
Well, I'm not. No, I'm not saying it was unfinished. I just said it was short. I'm assuming that I would like to think that they did not just like
So
rein some of it in.
upon updating the game, players can access one free downloadable mission as well.
One.
So they good.
So it's still gonna be short, is what I'm hearing.
Yeah, no, I'm just giving you shit.
I know it. I know.
So I was learning about
It caught me off guard because like, oh no, Pikmin.
Pokemons today.
Oh, Pokemans.
Pokemans?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's with the Z.
I didn't
Oh.
realize that Pokemon X and
Yes.
Pokemon Y were 2 different games.
Oh really? You know it was
Yeah.
Pokemon XY.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's always the thing.
So I've had I had
You've had
a
Awakening?
tutorial. I had a
Do you have-
training.
And do you understand that they're not the exact same game?
Yes.
Yes.
There's like 20 different Pokemons.
They've I think they announced it today or a couple days ago, but yeah, it's not only the normal thing is that there are different Pokemon in the different games. So it's like
All right.
you will get one Pokemon, I can get another Pokemon, and that way they're to
No,
encourage
fuck you. I'm
trading.
getting all the Pokemons.
Well, you can't get them all unless you trade with me. Yeah.
You're a shifty character. I
Yeah,
don't know if I
know.
believe in your
Yeah.
trades.
So like I can get a Ninetales and you can get an Arcanine.
Oh,
but
can
not
I
the
get
other way
that?
around. Yeah. But what they've also announced now is that a lot of the Mega Evolutions, which is a new thing they've added, are going to be different between the 2 different platforms, which I hate so much.
Can I Mega Evolution my Pokemons to
Yeah.
be bigger than your
Dude, you could have a Mega Evolutionized Charizard
I,
X.
Hypercube?
Now we're to Digimon.
Charizard X and Charizard Y,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
Yeah, that was the big one. Was that and the fucking? I was gonna get Y, but X looks cooler now.
Also I looked at all the different ones. The Mewtwo's different.
Mewtwo's
and
different, yeah.
The turtle with a tank.
Yeah.
Blastoise?
Blastoise.
Yeah, look at that. I'm learning. I'm telling you, I'm gonna play this game.
I'm excited.
I'm gonna catch all the Pokemons before
You're not going to have to. Apparently, you'll know everything about it long before you get
No.
around to playing it.
There's so many Pokemon now.
How many are there?
There were 693
Whoa.
as of the last generation.
Nah.
So it'll take like a day. How long do you think it would take you to catch all of them?
If you you can't even catch them all in the same game. You have to trade up from previous generations.
All right, let's say you
What?
employed.
Yeah.
So I'm fucked.
Yeah, you're fucked.
Let's
That's
say
not
you
fair.
employed a team of 4.
Yeah.
Round the clock
You could.
Poke catchers.
You could probably do it in
4 people.
Well, no, they'd have to all be playing
No
the same
sleep.
game though to
Fuck
come up.
the
So they'd
sleep.
have to do like 6 hours
24
a day.
hours.
Okay, 24
hours
hours
a
a day.
The 24 hours a day.
You could probably knock out a couple weeks.
All right.
Yeah.
Get on
Yeah.
it. Camera.
Yeah. No, it's fucked at this point. You have to. Yeah, they have this thing where you can take Pokemon from previous generations and bring them into the newer generations. And there's some Pokemon that's the only way you can get them up some generations. It's really annoying. It's the worst.
This sounds like a pyramid scheme.
Yeah.
really, doesn't it? Like
This sounds
You
shit. I
have
don't
to
know if
buy
I want to
their
get
whole
Am I going to
motto.
own a timeshare in Florida when this is all said and done?
their whole motto is you got to catch them all, and you can't catch them all unless you play all the
No,
games.
it's genius. Then the only way to catch them all is to buy them all.
Exactly.
You have to buy every fucking iteration of the game and the hardware to play it on.
And they've got to
And then
catch
move
all
it.
of the money that you're throwing away.
To catch all the money and the wasted time.
Yeah, seriously. So many hours.
Uh,
It's hard to
Can
play
we
that
get
game
off
and
the,
not
what else we got to
have
talk
100
about other than
hours.
Pokemans?
What else is there to talk about in life?
I'm pretty excited.
Apparently,
Yeah,
there's
it's
a
good.
lot of those.
It's gonna be it's coming out while we're near Comic-Con, so I'm gonna
It comes
digitally
out-
download it.
Doesn't it come out on a Saturday?
It's Saturday or Sunday. But Nintendo usually does their stuff on Sundays.
Fucking weirdos.
That is weird.
I got burpees. Yeah.
Is it
Which
like-
makes it really hard to go get new games because a lot of times the stores are like, fuck it, games are Tuesday.
Is it like Sunday for us? But I forget, how does that fall on the international dateline?
It would probably be the next day. It would be Monday in Japan.
Which is still not Tuesday.
No,
But
but Monday
it's
makes more
Monday's
sense
better,
than
yeah.
Sunday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So did you read that Microsoft announced that on day one, if you get an Xbox One, it's going to take like 15 to 20 minutes to update your console?
Unless you work here, in which case everyone will be trying to do it, and it'll take 15 to 20 hours.
I didn't think about that.
The
Yeah, do it at home.
yeah.
Yeah.
The same thing happened with the Wii U. I popped it in. I turned it on and
Yeah.
it was like, oh, update.
That honestly doesn't bother me, though. I mean, that's pretty standard.
But
I'd rather they got the fixes done and onto the
Yeah.
console.
But
It's
are-
true,
are
but
you
that
guys
is a
insta-
long time. I mean, that's one of the things I did not like about the PS3 was anytime I went to go play it, it's like, oh, here's a 20-minute update.
And imagine
long
if
as
you
it's a
install the
one-time
game
thing.
on top of that too.
Right.
Now you're looking
Yeah.
at 40 minutes.
As long as it's a one-time thing, which Xbox, I will say they're pretty good about that.
Xbox
Rarely
updates are
do they
way
do
better than PS3 updates.
and they usually go
on the-
pretty quick.
Yeah.
Which is funny because their cloud sync system is really slow.
Yeah. It makes you wonder, like, why don't they just divert some of those assets to the cloud sync?
It mystifies me because also Steam has a cloud system, and the Steam cloud system is amazing.
Yeah.
You don't even notice it's happening. It just, your saves are everywhere you go.
One of the things I like about the Steam Cloud save system is that, like, let's say you're playing a game, you quit, then you're looking at your Steam library. It shows you the progress, like the
Yeah.
percentage and the speed and everything. With
Yeah.
the Xbox, you're like, is it going? You see, like, the little pulsing lights, like, how fast is it going? Like,
Doing
Yeah,
work?
that drives me crazy. There's another thing with Battle Block Theater. It's the same thing where there is no save file on your Xbox. It's all saved on their server. So they there's actually a tip like when you're loading between things is like make sure you just sit in the loading screen for a minute, like in the main menu for a minute before you turn it off.
Yeah.
It's like how long is enough?
yeah. Like,
have
I
I
wish
waited?
you could go in the dashboard somewhere to be like, force a sync now.
Exactly.
And then watch it.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
you would go
Yeah.
and
Some
you
kind
could
of
watch
If
it
status.
there's a
as
check
an
mark somewhere,
indicator.
it's like sync complete.
Right.
Yeah.
You can turn it off now.
It's like, okay, my cache is in sync on this box, but is it out of sync on the other one?
Right.
Can you go to the storage options and see something like that? I've never
Yeah,
looked.
you can look at your individual save file in the cloud save, and it'll say if it's in sync or out of sync. But
Alright.
that's
okay.
it.
That's a lot of drilling down in menus.
Yeah, and it also
It really
doesn't
is.
tell you if it's out of sync newer or out of sync older.
Can you look at the date at least? Oh,
They show up in active downloads? I've never seen them. Apparently,
Interesting.
Bernie is saying that they show up in active downloads. I don't think I've ever seen that
No.
when it's uploaded, because I feel like it uploads when it turns off.
I've never pinned down exactly when that happens.
I've lost information before because I turned it off.
I see. I feel really lucky. I've only recently started using the cloud saves a couple weeks ago, and I haven't had any issues with it. It's been great.
I've been really lucky with it too. I haven't had a lot of problems, and I just follow the same steps every time, which is I find whatever way you're supposed to shut the game down and dashboard out, and then I give that a second, and then I turn it off. And somewhere in all that,
Yeah, so
it
I
seems
saw
like
you.
it syncs.
I saw you like weird. Like I went over to the chief accounting
Uh-huh.
office to get you to come over here, and you're sitting there like, all right, time to go, and you hit start, quit.
Yeah, let me quit the
With
game.
dashboard, you sat there. I'm like, come on.
And I did that because I literally. Then we're talking about GTA 5
Yeah.
online. I literally just lost $10,000 on doing almost that exact same process to get out of Michael's game. But that's a whole other thing because I don't know where that save information's even going. I think that's going to
They're-
the Rockstar.
That's going to
cloud
their
server.
server.
and their
Yeah.
servers are still really spotty.
Yeah, which all right.
So
Yeah.
someone was saying that if you get stuck on one of those screens, they tweeted at us that if you get stuck on one of those screens you can't be out of,
Yeah.
and you have to like Jewel or turn off
Yeah.
your Xbox.
Yeah.
They said if you unplug your
That's what I've been
Ethernet,
doing.
then
Yeah.
it'll also.
I just yank because it's easy for me because I got the games case right in front of me. I can just yank it.
Games.
But for people that have more entrenched entertainment systems, it's
yeah. Plus, also at home, I use mine's connected via Wi-Fi.
There you go.
So it's like, what am I doing? Unplug my fucking
Yeah.
router, then my.
well, why
then-
not? You
then-
don't have another
then-
computer apparently.
Just stand by.
No,
Get you in.
but I've got a wife who's using the internet.
Ah, yes.
So they'll be
Those
like,
can be
what's wrong with the
dangerous.
internet? Oh, no, sorry, it'll be right back.
Oh no, they're down.
Oh, the internet's offline. It's
When are
taking
we
a
getting
break.
Google
Government
Fiber?
shutdown.
I want Google Fiber. When are we getting Google Fiber?
Next year, supposedly, right?
Yeah, and AT&T will be here too.
Okay.
Maybe they can fight it out, and AT&T will lose.
Well,
the
yeah, we
day
won't
they
use
announced Google
AT&T,
Fiber,
just,
AT&T released a press release
Yep.
saying that, oh, yeah, we could do fiber all along. We just don't think there's the demand for it. But if the consumers want it, we'll do it.
If
Great.
enough of you buy AT&T, we'll do it.
Yeah.
Fucking liar.
Which in most areas, unfortunately, where my house is, I bet I won't get it for a long time. But if we could
Google
just have
or
it here, either for
Okay.
fiber, it's just not going to be at my house for a while.
So it's interesting to me to think about a company. This is only a tangent related to
That's fine.
gaming.
All right.
It's interesting to me to think of a company like AT&T. When I was a little kid, AT&T was just the place that you got your home phone from.
Right.
You didn't even own the phone. They owned the phone. You just rented the phone from them.
Oh wow, I don't remember that.
Yeah,
That's a weird
I'm
system.
a little older than you. I remember going to the phone store or going to the Southwestern Bell store, and it's like, we want a new phone.
The
And like,
phone
which
store.
color do you want? The black one, the yellow one, or the green one? And it's like you get your phone that they own, and you pay them to rent it. Anyway, that was their business.
the pants
Then it
store.
was the monopoly lawsuits. Then you could own your own phone. Other people
Right.
could make phones. You could plug it in. That was their business. Still home phones.
Right.
Then things started evolving, and it's like now they're in the internet business. Like DSL came out, and
Seems
I tried
like they went
DSL.
long distance first.
Well,
was
then
their
long
big
distance,
thing.
yeah.
Yeah.
So then they had long distance.
Yeah.
Then it's internet, DSL or cable. I thought
Yeah.
cable was going to win. It's like, oh, that's it for AT&T. Then cell phones take off, and now they're just like a cell phone and data business.
Yeah,
Yeah.
pretty much. And then they still and cable provider.
Yeah. So it's like
It's like-
it's a company that's really done their best to stay in front of technology.
I feel
and
like
constantly
a lot of
adapt.
those companies, they just do everything now. It's like the same thing with Time Warner. It's like they do the cable, they do internet, they do everything.
Which makes you wonder. I mean, that's exactly what got them. I mean, you talk about
Right.
they got broken up for being a monopoly, and they're working themselves right back
Yeah.
to that position.
Well, they did that a long time ago.
Yeah.
They got broken up into the Baby Bells, and then fucking Southwestern Bell bought all of the other ones and
Yeah.
reformed the company.
Yeah.
Which I think wasn't there. We're getting political again, but there was some bill that got repealed that allowed that to happen again.
Oh, really?
I forget. Anyway, I don't know enough
Yeah.
details
Bernie
about
would
that to really talk about
probably
it.
know that since we both worked in telecom for a few years. So all that stuff's fascinating to me. So one of the other things, going back to more
Actual video
gaming-related news, did you see that the Warcraft movie got a release date?
Yes.
Does anyone care?
The Telecom Act of 1996. Thank you.
Oh, wow.
Do you
Brandon.
care?
I would care if it was done by the Blizzard cinematic team.
No, yeah, I'll give you that.
Yeah.
If Blizzard Cinematic ever made a movie, I would watch it.
I would care if it was that.
A live action Warcraft movie?
Yeah, I'm really curious, especially because when they first announced that they were
Uh-huh.
going to make this movie, they said there was going to be a Sam Raimi movie.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
But then he dropped. Because this was a few years ago now.
Yeah.
Then he dropped out to do Oz the Great and
Uh-huh.
Powerful, or
Whatever.
whatever the fuck the movie was called.
I got a
And
big
now
head.
it's a movie that's going to be directed by Duncan Jones, who's
Yeah.
the guy who did Moon.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So I'm kind of curious to see how it goes.
Why? What movie is there? And is
No.
Matthew Lillard available? Because, I mean, come on.
Why
he's-
Matthew Lillard?
Yeah, he's in the Wing Commander movie.
Oh,
what else
okay.
was he in? He's
in
been
a
all over the
lot of
place.
stuff.
He's the go-to guy for a role that
Scooby-Doo.
just doesn't need to be cast.
Thank you,
Yeah.
Kara. The go-to guy for a role that doesn't need to be cast. I hear he's going to put that in his next.
It's when you give
next
up on a
demo reel.
movie. It's like, well, we got Matthew Lillard,
Eh.
so
Well, I mean, it's
straight to DVD.
I agree with you. I think I'd be more inclined to see a cinematic, a first-party
Yeah.
Blizzard cinematic movie. But I'm still curious to see what they're going to do with it.
Or even a cinematic movie. Why is it live action? Why are we Dragon Ball Z-ing this?
It is a very good point. It's like that universe has existed in the 3D world this whole time.
Yeah.
Why bring it out of that
And
world?
it's existed in this 3D world so well.
Yeah.
How can you live up in a live action context to what they've done?
I mean, wouldn't it be like especially for those people who played World of Warcraft for so long, wouldn't it be just the best thing ever to see really polished models of all those Warcraft skins in a movie? You know, it's like
Well, they're probably going to do. I assume there's going to be tons of computer
I'm
generated.
sure, yeah, but
Well, that's the scary
graphics.
thing. They better.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, you don't wanna
You
see
want to
it.
end up with the Thing from Fantastic Four again?
Yeah.
As all the orcs. I mean, it could happen.
Yeah.
not-
no.
some-
Somebody thought that was a good idea.
Well, I mean, you also look at orcs and Lord of the Rings, where they use like
Sure.
kind of a
True.
hybrid between
That's
like
true.
computer models and actors, and that was fucking 10 years ago now.
Yeah, fair
So-
enough. I mean, that was a really solid portrayal of it. But the style of Warcraft
Yeah.
has been so established, and it's not a physical style that you could match with live action.
I don't
mean,
think you could.
The big shoulders, the big arms. I mean, it's got so much very specific art to it.
I feel like the color palette too is
Yeah.
very not live action,
they have
not real life.
such a
whatsoever.
defined look that live action will never match. So why are we trying?
Now a StarCraft movie.
I want to see. Maybe they figured something out. Maybe they're ahead of it. Maybe they
didn't.
had all these concerns, and they
Yeah.
know and they've thought of solutions.
Who
Hopefully
signed
they're-
on to it? There was a couple actors already, right?
Let me
Attached to
look.
it. I can't remember exactly.
The only thing I
Yeah.
knew was
Duncan Jones.
Duncan Jones is the only one I remember.
Uh-huh.
I like the screenshot that Joystick used for the announcement. It's an
Nice.
old
Yeah.
Warcraft
Warcraft
1.
2.
Or is it 2?
Is it 1 or 2?
Either Warcraft 1 or 2.
Yeah.
No, it's 2. There's a
yeah.
Zeppelin there.
Oh, there you go.
And it's got the Mystery Science
You got
Theater
the
guys
Mystery
on it.
Science, Yeah. So Duncan Jones, who directed Moon and Source Code,
It's David Bowie's son.
the project.
Didn't he used to have a weirder name?
He did,
It
yeah.
was Zoe Bowie or something like that. I
Zoe
think.
Bowie? Is that it?
I think that was
something, yeah.
it. Um,
Or is it like Sky Kissed Heavens?
no, it says
Apple.
script by Charles Leavitt, writer of Blood Diamond and K-Pax.
K-Pax.
I think Chris Metzen was also
Okay.
listed on IMDb as one of
Uh-huh.
the co-writers. But yeah, I don't see any actors attached in this article.
Okay.
But December 18th, 2015. So over 2 years away, we'll find out.
I mean,
Yeah.
for the way those movies run, that's got to be starting principal photography pretty soon,
They're starting
right?
principal photography in January.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
That
Yeah,
is soon.
so which means it's gonna be very effects heavy.
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, it would have to be, like
Yeah.
you said. And what story are they going to tell us? I mean,
Are they gonna start from the very beginning of the games? Or
yeah.
Like,
Like,
yeah.
where does this pick up?
I feel like that entire series is like just a series of 1,000 stories.
Yeah.
You know.
You could argue that there are some things that you look at from the outside and go, this shouldn't be made into a movie. It'll never live up, like, say, Harry Potter. And while I didn't necessarily love the movies, having read the books beforehand.
I don't think it was a failure though.
No,
by
I
any
think it was
means,
very
yeah.
successful as a movie series. And I probably wouldn't have thought that it should have been a movie having just read the books.
Right.
That being said,
Warcraft.
So I think of like huge moments in the Warcraft universe,
Uh-huh.
and the first one that sticks out to me is Thrall escaping imprisonment or slavery, and freeing himself, and then moving on to like lead the orcs away from
that's start of
the
3,
humans.
right? Because Thrall didn't really appear
Right, I
before
think that was beginning of 3,
Yeah.
and that also plays heavily into World of Warcraft.
Yeah.
and
It
in fact,
does.
you can go through like there's instances where you go back in time and you can experience that moment. I feel like that's a big moment. So, but that's like so early in the conflict between orcs and humans. It's not really compelling other than that one
Yeah.
piece.
Now I
Yeah.
want to go play Warcraft 3 again.
I kind of want to play Warcraft. I haven't played since the update.
I'm sad that we never got an RTS sequel to the Warcraft series.
The very
Yeah.
first E3 I went to, I saw Warcraft 3 there,
Uh-huh.
and that's when I that's when I was like most excited to be like part of like. It was before Rooster Teeth. Like I was like I was most excited to be attached to the video game industry. It was like, holy shit! I'm getting to see and play Warcraft 3 before it's even out. You know, it's like so fucking cool.
I think that was the first one I played. Yeah. I just went over to a friend's house and he had. I was like, "What is this game? Oh my god, this is awesome!"
Yeah.
I do miss the announcer from Warcraft 2, though. That
Oh,
guy.
yeah.
The orcs of Lordaeron have landed on the northern shore.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I don't know. We'll see. But on the topic of things that have been turned into MMORPGs, what's this with the EverQuest 2 is now selling characters?
That's the next
Wait.
thing I was going to bring up.
I missed this one. What?
So in EverQuest 2, you can, I forget what the amount is. You can pay like essentially $35, I think, to get a level 85 character in game.
Okay.
In other news, the GDP of China just went down about $20.
Yeah.
The level cap in the game apparently is 95.
Okay.
So it's
you
like
can't get to the top.
you're pretty much at the end. You're
Yeah.
pretty much. I think I've never played EQ2, so I don't know exactly
Sure.
how it works. But it seems like there's some weight to those last 10 levels. Like you're
Well,
like,
usually that's the way it is. It's like you blow through like the first
Yeah.
like 80%, and
Right.
then like the last 20% is like the big one.
but you can buy an 85 level character, and it comes with items, and you can enable. I don't know what they called it, but I call it a dummy mode, where it's like they'll only show you the key abilities and buttons for that class, so you can learn how to play it if you've never played it
So
before.
it becomes like Dance Dance Revolution EverQuest, like 1, 4, 3,
Yeah.
lightning
Jesus.
bolt, ice storm.
and then as you get comfortable with it, you can like go back to a normal interface.
I guess if people want to spend money on it, sure. It's the same thing with the GTA microtransactions. It's like, yeah, you can spend $13 and you can get, it was like $13 gets you like $100,000 or something. I don't know. Or is it a million,
I think.
Yeah. It's like, if people want to do that, sure. As long as it's not required that I pay that money, I don't care. People can do whatever they want.
I mean, I guess with MMORPGs, is there shorter for MMOs? MMO. Let's go to that.
We can assume it's an RPG.
They keep adding in-game content usually, right? I mean, that's how they keep the people that are long-time players playing. And if you were to have walked away from the series for a long time and then came back and your character wasn't there or was so out of date that it couldn't be useful, I can see how maybe
buying
there's
5 levels or something.
But that being said, as a longtime MMO player, there was nothing who like raided seriously.
Yeah.
There was nothing worse to me than pulling someone along on a raid and realizing they have never played this character before. Like they've literally no idea what they're doing, and they're just like dragging everyone down with them. And I feel like that's what that would be. I feel like if I was a longtime player, I'd be like, fuck, now I got to figure out if these are new players who have just bought their way in and have the dummy mode
they should
enabled.
put a little symbol next to your name, like, hey, I bought this character.
A queue specifically for those people so they could just kill each other together.
And eventually they may learn and they may get good, but I would be so upset and worried about that.
What do you think the ratio is going to be for people who buy them just never playing the game, just like, oh, I'm just going to start at level 85, or people who have played the game a lot and just want more classes at a higher level?
Like, that's a good point.
You know, I almost feel like...
But still, that being said, even a longtime player of one class doesn't necessarily know the intricacies of how to play another class.
Well, I kind of wonder if they looked at their level spread and realized that the top end was really heavy on dropout, and so to reflesh out those ranks, they're offering this.
Well, I think more than anything, it could be a way to keep EverQuest in people's minds because they only recently, a couple months ago, announced or started showing off the EverQuest Next stuff. And I don't know if you saw.
Oh, there's another one?
Yeah, there's another one that's gonna
actually looks very good.
It looks awesome.
Yeah.
All right.
So I think this is a way to keep people excited and in the universe as a placeholder, like kind of like a Band-Aid, until they can get the next one coming out.
Well, are there still people playing EverQuest 1? That one had legs, if I recall.
Yeah, I think people still play EverQuest 1.
There's like a
the real
server
question
in a
is,
dusty
does
corner.
anybody play EverQuest Online Adventures? That was the PS2 one.
The PS2 one? I remember that.
I played that.
I had a broadband adapter.
Yeah, I did too. I found out that my PS2 was like so early in the PS2 queues that it didn't have a chip inside of it that would let me play online, even though I had the broadband adapter.
Really?
Yeah, it just wouldn't work.
I had a launch PS2.
Really?
And I was able to put a broadband adapter.
Then mine was
in
just fucked up. Apparently, I don't know. Like I sent it in and everything, and they sent it back, and they're like, "Yeah, it's just not gonna work."
Weird.
So I had to like use a friend's PS2 anytime I wanted to use the broadband adapter and play EverQuest. It was dumb.
I wonder where my PS2 is.
I know where mine is. I'm gonna sell it.
Huh.
I'm not gonna sell it.
You're gonna sell it?
No, I'm not gonna sell it.
Do
It
people-
still works.
Is that still exchangeable for goods and services, or is it?
Yeah, probably PS2.
Do you have just like
It
trade
is the most.
work?
I guess it's the most.
Will someone cobble shoes for
You
you?
can send it down to Brazil.
Yeah, there you go. They play
There you
FIFA.
go.
They got FIFA 14
Yeah,
down there.
I'll just duct tape it to the, like the
Brazilian
side. Like, hey,
Craigslist.
look, it's a package.
American version, American edition. Put a fucking
We need to
Big
start
Mac in there.
exporting, spam emails, and you start sending them out of the country to, hey,
Yeah.
you in Brazil, are you
Yeah.
interested in buying a PS2? I have a PS2 that my father owns that I'm trying to move out of the country.
I need $50 to open the padlock.
We're on something.
Yeah.
Let's export.
Cut the stream.
Let's export all of the old video games out of here and
Yeah.
make money sending them overseas.
There you go.
I like this idea. So the other big news that came out last week, I guess, was or was it earlier this week actually? The Half-Life 3 was trademarked.
Yeah, it was like
Yeah.
yesterday.
The Half-Life 3 trademark was filed in Europe, which I think is total non-news.
I can't believe that hasn't already been filed long time since.
Well, that's
I mean,
what,
just to hold that down.
Somebody went and looked it up, and I think it was I might have these flopped, but Half-Life they trademarked it about a couple months before, and Half-Life 2 they trademarked it like a year after. I mean, I probably something in there switched, but it was like there's no correlation. It's like, oh, they trademark it 6 months later, it comes out. There's nothing.
There's probably not a lot of infighting over
Half-Life 3.
it's already a sequel and it's already a very recognized one.
Yeah.
You're not gonna steal that brand too easily.
Yeah.
No, I feel like they have a case.
It's been set.
Yeah.
Did you also see, I guess, that that screenshot was released showing like the different, how can I put it? So an internal database that Valve uses to manage projects.
Right.
Oh.
A screenshot was released from it, and with the drop down
Yeah.
to different projects, and one of them in the list was Half-Life 3.
Yeah.
Interesting.
It was like Half-Life 3 and Half-Life 3 Engine Core, I want to say
Or
was
Source
the other
2,
one.
was it?
Something like that.
You're talking about from the tour that.
No. That
is
was Left 4 Dead 3.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
This just came out earlier today. Or
No, I
so.
may have
Let
missed
me
that
look
one.
this up. Yo, Vamp.
Vamp,
Hello,
vamp, vamp, vamp,
baby.
vamp.
You can
Hello,
vamp
my-
you don't have to sing, Ryan. You can talk about games.
Play me off, Charlie.
My go-to is just saying vamp over and over again.
Vamp, vamp,
Man,
That'll summon the vampires. You don't want to do that.
I really wish they'd done. I think it was Bernie's idea
Mm-hmm.
of just putting out all of the threes on that third one. I know they weren't going to do it, but I
But it was
wanted
also
to.
the third announcement.
It was the third announcement. It was everything was perfect.
There's been a lot of speculation or a lot of people kind of grumbling on the internet that, which I know.
What?
Hold on to your pants.
It wasn't on YouTube though, because that never happens.
I think in this case, they may actually have a fair point. That is, where do you go from Half-Life 2 in this market now? Like, I mean, they were always pushing the type of gameplay and the type of graphics available.
Sure.
Yeah, we're hitting kind of a balance point where they'd really have to push it to Half-Life 3. Oh, this is the...
So this is like the project
Yeah.
selector.
Interesting.
We'll put a screenshot in the link dump so you
Yeah.
can see it. But yeah, it's got like Half-Life 2 stuff and then Half-Life 3, Half-Life 3 Core.
Which you got to imagine there's...
They're gonna have an
no
intro.
matter whether they're making it right now or not,
Yeah.
they're probably at least storyboarding.
If you
or
cl-
so
if you,
then
some kind
if
of
you click
pre-pro.
on it, it's just a picture of Gabe. Just like, hey.
This article goes on to say that
With troll horns.
I guess like there's more screenshots, but the files that they show reveal that there's 10 staff members making up the core Half-Life 3 development team and an additional 46 people working on the project.
All right.
Oh, that sounds like more than pre-production.
Yeah, that's a good amount.
Yeah.
But who knows? Again, leaks.
Fingers crossed. It's
yeah.
gonna happen.
It'll happen.
Oh,
Well, maybe.
When did that happen?
Oh,
It just happened.
it just happened.
Oh, okay.
Oh, last couple grains.
Well, we're at our time. I think we covered just about everything that I wanted to talk about this week, believe it or
Has
not.
it actually been an
We
hour?
didn't talk. Yeah, it has been. We didn't talk about the
you
Logitech
win this
iPhone
time,
gamepad.
gravity.
I saw the picture you sent out. It looks cool.
I want to get one for
I don't
Lindsay
know-
just so she doesn't have to. Every time she's in there using her iPhone as a camera, she's
Oh,
got
yeah.
like a coaster that she holds to make it more comfortable in her hand.
She adds weight to it so it doesn't shake as
Yeah.
much. Yeah.
The thing I thought was, so you look at it and imagine this iPad is an iPhone. It was a controller that had like a control stick out here and buttons over here. Why don't you put them down here?
Yeah, and collapse the whole thing.
Oh,
a
to
little
have
bit.
it
Yeah.
Right.
More like a DS kind of look.
Well, I
Right,
remember
so it's
that
like
was
you're playing
actually-
like this. with
Well,
your-
I mean, now it's basically emulating what, a PS2? I'm
Or a
sorry,
PS
PSP
Vita.
or
Yeah,
PS Vita now.
Yeah,
and
pretty much.
I feel like it should be under it like a DS.
That was actually the before they announced the Vita. There was somebody like did the thing where they fake a new console, like the 3D rendering of it. And that's actually what it was. It was they took the screen and they had something slide from under it, and that's where everything was. Because I feel like the thing that they have now, where the fuck are you gonna put that? You have
Yeah.
to carry around like a backpack or a purse or something.
Yeah,
But if they did that, it could just attach underneath.
But again, this is just the first one. I mean, Apple only released the Joypad API for iOS with iOS 7.
Right.
So before it was impossible. Now we'll start to see some. I don't think this one is necessarily the
How-
right one, but we'll see more.
It shouldn't be too hard to just hook a PlayStation controller up to it, should it? Because they're both Bluetooth. Theoretically.
Um,
Depends
Somebody
on-
much smarter than I could do
Depends
that.
on what, if the PlayStation controllers are open or not.
That's true. I
right,
guess,
you have to like jailbreak your controller.
Interesting.
All right,
Coming
All right.
from NBC.
All right, well, thanks for joining us, everyone. We'll be back Monday with an episode of RT Podcast and next Wednesday with another patch. Bye.
Bye.